Today on Studio One, we'll take you inside the last missile alert facility in eastern North Dakota. Missileers tell us what it was like working with some of the most powerful weapons in the world. Also, we'll try to follow the fast-talking lifestyle of those who sell others possessions. We'll spend a day in the life of an auctioneer. And the news team will tell us how our national crisis is causing many people to return to their faith.
From the University of North Dakota, with Monty Cashel and Ivy Arneson, this is Studio One.
Hello everyone and welcome to Studio One.
Yes, thank you for joining us today. Well, we've got a great show lined up, but first, Monty, there was something I wanted to tell you about.
Well, shoot.
Well, a lot of people have anxiety disorders such as phobias or something.
Panic attacks. Yep.
Things like that. And what they've developed now, it's an experimental treatment, and what it is, they implant a device something like a pacemaker,
okay.
And they put it in, and what it does is it stimulates your vagus nerve. It's called vagus nerve stimulation, and what that does is it sends messages or something to that nerve, and it calms you down. It relaxes you a little bit.
So it's not a medication then?
No, it's not. It's a device that's implanted, and it's just it's experimental. So I'm not sure if it's gonna last or if it's gonna be a fad that just kind of.
Well, I know there's a lot of medication that they're pushing on the market to try and calm people down.
Yes,
maybe this is another option.
Yeah, hopefully it'll work out for the doctors and the people that have the phobias.
Yeah, thanks for that information. Well, we've got a lot of information for you. We'll talk with one woman who fulfills a dual role. She's a working mom and an officer in the National Guard.
They're native to South America but have found homes all over the world. Today we'll talk with someone who is lucky enough to have his very special animal.
But first, today's news with Leanna Anderson.
Thank you, Monty and Ivy. National airports have resumed flights in Washington, D.C. Tighter security measures have been installed, including the limiting of carry-on baggage, adding of police officers, and having passengers go through more security checkpoints. The number of flights is limited, and the airport will only be open from 7 in the morning until 10 at night. Reagan National Airport is the last airport to reopen following the attacks on September 11th. A man opened fire inside the home of his ex-wife and children in Texas Wednesday night. His ex-wife and 8-year-old son were killed. Their 14-year-old son was injured and hospitalized for gunshot wounds. After committing the horrible act, the man turned the gun on himself. Officials say he was visiting home to take his sons out to dinner. The man had been estranged from his children until he resumed contact with them about a month ago. Muslims throughout the world were horrified when they heard about the tragedy of September 11th. Many were especially disgusted to learn it was Islamic followers who committed such a horrible act. Yasser Khalifa is one of many Muslims around the world who are trying to let people know what his faith is really about.
Just say Islam, as any religion on earth, promotes mercy, peace, and love.
Since the word Islam actually stands for peace, Khalifa says he hopes, along with other Muslims, that peace will soon triumph over all. The next target for terrorists could be the nation's computers. The government is advising all businesses to install the most recent antivirus software and be cautious on the internet. Cyber terrorists have used computer viruses to disrupt businesses for years. A computer virus is designed to slow down and destroy PCs and networks. Government officials warn that key institutions could be the next place that terrorists strike. These may include hospitals, power plants, and banks, who all rely heavily on computer systems. One of many questions that has been raised since the World Trade Center attack is whether or not to go to war. This is a decision that weighs heavily on many people's minds, especially those that someday may go into battle if war is declared.
The terrorist attack on the World Trade Center has had a deep impact on almost everyone in the United States. One of the groups that is being affected directly is the United States ROTC program, and many cadets have different feelings towards the attack.
I don't know, it disgusts me, makes me sick to see them do something like that. I like how the United States pulled together, though.
These words reflect the opinions of many Americans, but as time passes, recruits grow uncertain about their futures.
It kind of got me thinking about quite a few different scenarios, but I don't think it will affect me for quite some time since I don't earn my commission for 2 years. And if our leaders do decide to take action on this, I'll obviously be willing to go and do whatever they assign me to do.
Some cadets say they are willing to do whatever is necessary to ensure the safety of the nation. Though it would be a few years until they would be sent off to war, many people in the ROTC program are ready to face whatever may come.
You know, I'd like to see justice brought to whomever caused the entire situation, but that's not anything that's my decision. So I'll just wait for whatever leaders have to make their decision and then carry out their orders.
Even though the future may be uncertain, ROTC cadets are doing their best to keep the national crisis from affecting their training. Reporting for Studio One, this is Jamie Morlock.
Army ROTC is a college elective students can take for up to 2 years with no obligation, but many ROTC students do choose a career in the military. And that's news for now. Monty and Ivy?
Thanks, Leanna. Well, it seems like it's starting to get closer and closer to the white stuff flying around. It's getting chilly outside in the mornings.
I know. Hopefully it'll warm up, stay warm for a little while. I don't like the snow.
No?
Well, let's go to the people who know that at the Regional Weather Information Center. Ryan Vipon.
Well, Monty and Ivy, in fact, it will turn colder here over the next day or so. In fact, a freeze advisory in effect for sections of North Dakota. Looking north in Grand Forks currently, mostly cloudy sky for the most part. The weather will trend to the cool side over the next day or so. First of all, taking a look at our almanac data for today. 53 for our high, that's 9 degrees below normal. We should see 62 precipitation, only a trace so far in October, and sunset at 7:03 tonight. Currently in Grand Forks, 50 degrees under a partly sunny sky, dew point 30, relative humidity sitting at 45%, northwest winds kind of gusty about 20 miles per hour, pressure 30.02. Regionally, temperatures across the area, for the most part into the 50s across the upper Midwest and northern plains, coolest off to the west with some snow reported this hour in Casper and 33. Current surface analysis does show a cold front off to the eastern seaboard and a sharper cold front behind that slipping through the upper Midwest, causing some rain showers in the central Mississippi Valley and that snow off to our west. As we take a fly through into the upper Midwest, partly sunny skies for the most part and gusty northwest winds currently at about 20 to 25 miles per hour. Tomorrow, continued the same, mostly cloudy skies, blustery, very cool for this time of year, so hold on to your hats and definitely we'll need a coat tomorrow. Friday forecast in Grand Forks, under a mostly cloudy sky, expecting a high of only 41 degrees. Low of 32 with a mostly cloudy sky and some possibly seeing some sun in the afternoon if we're lucky. Northwest winds at about 10 to 20 miles per hour. For all your up-to-date weather information, click on our website, www.rwic.und.edu. So Monty and Ivy, cooling off here the next day or so into the early half of the weekend. We'll take a look at the closer look at the weekend coming up later in the show.
Well, I don't like seeing that snow out in the western part of the country, but hopefully
it's going to come, whether we want it to or not.
It will.
All right. Well, something we can look forward to is the sports forecast, and that's with James Gellar.
Thanks, Monty and Ivy. The National Hockey League dropped the puck on a new season Wednesday night. Only 3 games were played. One of those was Ottawa at Toronto. Before the game, one of hockey's greats had his jersey retired. Frank Mahovlich led the Maple Leafs in scoring from 1960 to 64. First period, Tucker smashes Karel Rashnuk into the boards. The game was delayed as Rashnuk was removed on a stretcher. Second period, Toronto with some nifty passing, and McGillney puts in a power play goal to tie the game. Ottawa wins 5-4. To baseball, Giants at Astros, top 6, Bonds watches a pitch and sets the new single-season walks record with 171. An inning later, Galarraga singles to left field, driving home Barry Bonds from second to make it 7-3 Giants. San Francisco would go on to win 11-8. More baseball, Dodgers at Padres. Bottom third, Klesko hits the ball to right, driving in Ricky Henderson, who equals Ty Cobb's all-time run score record of 2,245. With the recent death of the Minnesota Vikings offensive lineman Corey Stringer, the safety of football players during practice has become a focus of concern. Not only at the professional and college levels, high school practices are under scrutiny as well. In North Dakota, the Grand Forks School District seems to have a good handle on the situation. Not only have practices been designed to accommodate to the safety of the players, each high school has its own athletic trainer as well.
They help regulate that, and they remind us, and they also educate the players as to how to take care of themselves and keep the water flowing and make sure they're hydrating before and after practice.
Along with keeping the players hydrated, Peterson says good communication is also key in keeping his team as safe as possible. It's now time for the Studio One Sports Trivia question. This week's question is, what professional baseball player stole 50 consecutive bases from 1988 to 89? Is it Ricky Henderson, Ozzie Smith, Jose Canseco, or Vince Coleman? The answer to that and more sports will come in the second half of the show. Monty and Ivy.
Thanks, James. Coming up, you'll meet two women that get paid to talk fast. They'll show us how they entertain a crowd full of buyers and keep the money rolling in.
But first, find out what the terrorist attacks mean for the National Guard. We'll talk with the National Guard officer next.
The University of North Dakota College of Business and Public Administration offers real degrees for real people. Our nationally recognized faculty can help you earn a master's degree in business through evening classes.
Taking these evening classes were very convenient for me, and that's how I was able to complete the program.
We offer degrees for people who work, raise families, and lead busy lives. The UND College of Business and Public Administration, real degrees for real people.
Let the University of North Dakota become your strategic partner by providing your business with skills to enhance your workforce retention and productivity efforts. The UND Office of Workforce Development has extensive experience in conducting employee satisfaction research, workforce needs assessments, and the development of customized training materials. Call us for further information. Workforce Development, a service of the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota.
The University of North Dakota. You can go anywhere from here. At UND, you'll find a challenging, exciting community that draws students from across the nation and around the world. The University of North Dakota offers 136 programs with outstanding faculty who will prepare you for your future. UND, an affordable, high-quality education that's nationally ranked. Your future starts here. Visit our campus and join the University of North Dakota community.
You're watching Studio One, your source for news, weather, sports, and entertainment.
The National Guard responds to many emergencies ranging from floods to civil disturbances. Just recently, National Guard officers have been stationed at major airports to help with security. Major Judy is here to tell us about the role of the National Guard and what they do. Thank you for coming on the show today. What is your role with the National Guard? What do you do?
Well, currently I'm assigned to a regional training institute, and we train soldiers from all over the United States and some outside of the United States. And I manage the personnel records for those soldiers, as well as I'm involved in training officer candidates at the school.
Okay. Now, what about the larger group, the National Guard itself? What exactly is it put in place to do?
Okay. The National Guard is actually the oldest part of the armed forces, dating back to 1636. Was the first militia, and we're actually a state militia, and we serve a dual role in the United States. We first answer to the governor of our states, and we can respond to state emergencies like the flood, the blizzards, things like that, as well as we have a federal role where if the armed forces are activated, we can be called to go to war or to fill in the shoes of people leaving to go to war. So at that point, we're activated. And a lot of units in the National Guard don't have an active duty counterpart. We're the only ones who do that job.
Okay. And this isn't your full-time job, is it?
No.
Okay.
I work for the University of North Dakota.
All right. So, and is it made up of people that have part-time jobs or full-time jobs, and then they do this part-time as well then?
Right, right. You have normally it's about 1 weekend a month and then 2 weeks in the summertime.
Okay. Now, since the terrorist attacks, has the role changed for the National Guard at all? Has anything changed for them?
Actually, we do things as we normally have been doing. People have been asked to volunteer, as you know, for the airport security, and at this point, no units in North Dakota have been called for any other purpose. So we're just continuing training and waiting.
Okay. Well, you're mentioning training. What kind of training goes on?
Well, all people that join the National Guard go onto active duty for basic training and then some advanced training. And there's continuing schools that are run by the Army. We train side by side with the active forces. And then our unit training really depends on what type of unit we are and what we do.
Okay. Is there any special training for things to deal with like terrorist attacks, that sort of a thing?
Not specifically. All the training that we do is designed to respond to any type of emergency or any type of situation. So a lot of the training is really generic to anywhere that leadership is needed or help is needed.
Okay. When you are called to help, is there a certain Guard member that gets called first?
Not necessarily. It really depends on the situation and what's needed, what kind of expertise. Like in North Dakota, we have water purification, so at times they've been called if that's the need.
Okay. As a person working with the military, what was your response to the attacks that happened in September?
At first, I mean, it's such a shocking thing to see, especially on your own homeland. And it's the first time in a long time that we've had anything like that happen in the United States. We've been isolated from it. So it's a reality call.
Mm-hmm. And knowing that maybe you might be called to help out, you know, you must have at first maybe saw what happened, and then you thought, well, what maybe am I going to do? Did any of that happen for you?
Sure. Yeah, that's one of the first things you think of is how you might be affected, or if your Guard unit might be activated. So one of the first things I did was call my unit, let them know where I was, that if they needed me, I was there.
Okay. How do you prepare yourself for something like that, being that you might be deployed?
Keep all your affairs in order and have your things packed, and talk to your family about it, and just be mentally prepared, but continue with your life as usual.
Because you're not in the military full-time all day working military affairs, that sort of a thing. Is there any kind of training that the National Guard does with their members to help them with their families and that sort of thing?
Yeah, the National Guard has people who do that's their specific job, is to help units mobilize and be prepared to mobilize. They bring in attorneys and doctors, dentists, all those types of things. Attorneys will sit down with you and help draw up legal papers if you have children to care for, help you take care of financial matters, or have power of attorney, somebody assigned to take care of your financial things while you're gone.
Okay. And with the people in the Guard in North Dakota training, you say that they're just continuing on as is. It's at the state level first where they get their orders. When and how does it switch over to the larger?
Okay. In order for the President to call up the National Guard, the Congress has to approve mobilization. And there's quite a few different levels of mobilization and how many soldiers can be called to active duty. So, it's up to the President as he gets together with his military planners and decides what type of forces need to respond. If some of those involve National Guard, then the President can be authorized to call us to active duty. And then at that point, the President becomes our Commander-in-Chief rather than the Governor of the state.
Okay. Now, with your background in the military as well, were you surprised that we were attacked by terrorists?
In some ways, not entirely. Not that I had any advanced knowledge that anything like this would happen, but I think, we're vulnerable in the United States because of the type of society we live in, because of the things that we value, the open society. We can be more vulnerable. I think we've been lucky that it hasn't happened to us.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for sharing what the National Guard does. I think people see them out and doing things in disaster-type situations, and it's helpful to know why you're out there. Thanks, Judy.
You're welcome.
Being in the 7th grade isn't always easy, especially for the character in this movie. Today we'll look at a recently released film called Max Keeble's Big Move. Also, can you say toy boat 10 times really fast? Chances are this auctioneering duo may be able to do just that and sell the boat as well. Stay with us for that story next.
UND's Conflict Resolution Center is your regional training resource for conflict transformation and prevention. Conflict is inevitable in the business world. Your ability to manage it is key to your success. That's where we can help. We provide on-site training, mediation, and facilitation services customized for your organization. The UND Conflict Resolution Center, capturing the positive energy of conflict and transforming it into human potential.
Why should I go to the University of North Dakota School of Engineering and Mines? Is it the small class sizes and personal attention I'll get from the faculty and staff? Is it the hands-on student projects my friends and I will work on? Is it the professional internship programs that'll help me prepare for my future career? Maybe I just want to be a part of something amazing.
Find out for yourself what makes the UND School of Engineering and Mines the perfect choice for your engineering degree. Call 1-800-CALL-UND. That's 1-800-CALL-UND.
The University of North Dakota has a rich history of retaining and graduating American Indian students. UND offers 26 American Indian programs, more than any other higher education institution in the U.S. The support services provided by Native American programs enhance student success. Native American programs offer tutoring, academic advising, and financial aid assistance, which makes UND a leader in Indian education. For more information, call 1-800-CALL-UND.
The School of Law at the University of North Dakota. This is a unique place, a place where you can learn with some of the best technology, where you can talk to the faculty in small class settings, a place where student activity groups enhance your education, a place which offers interaction with the court system, an affordable place where you can gain all the skills you need to get a job. Take your place at the University of North Dakota School of Law. Phone 1-800-CALL-UND.
The sound of fast voices, a variety of items for sale, and good company is what attracts many people to an auction. We found two women who have made fast talking their business. Today we spend the day in the life of an auctioneer.
Fire King dishes, a whole box of them there, assorted pieces.
Not even rain can stop these auctioneers from doing a job they love. Marielle Anderson and Pam Swickla have been friends for many years previous to their auctioneering days.
It was my husband's idea. He said that basically the only talent I had was talking, and so I should think about it, and I laughed. And actually, then I seriously considered it after that.
Marielle asked her good friend Pam to attend an auctioneer school in Mason City, Iowa. After that, their passion for auctioneering started to develop.
The school itself was drills, number drills, word drills. There were other auctioneers that were already in the business that were some of the instructors.
The classes also included lessons on antiques, to cattle, to real estate, but most of the training was just developing the chant.
Every $20, every 20, 17, 7, and 20. Anyone else spending $20, every 20?
Marielle and Pam have auctioned in many places within Minnesota and North Dakota, but are willing to go almost anywhere.
We've always said we go to Acapulco or Honolulu. You know, we don't care. Nobody's asked us.
Many people attend auctions to get that certain item, but some just go for the good company.
I enjoy fixing up things. I like those windmills. They look like new when I get done with them.
Marielle and Pam say that auctions are a way to spend time together and meet a wide variety of people. With photographer Troy Clifton, I'm Erin Stevenson, reporting for Studio One.
Marielle and Pam only auction during the summer, but always keep in touch the rest of the year. They have even considered writing a book about all their memorable auctioneering experiences. Max Keeble's big move is filling theaters with lessons of friendship, loyalty, and the importance of finishing whatever you start. Max Keeble, played by Alex D. Linz, is entering the 7th grade with high hopes of popularity and dreams of dating Jenna, the freshman beauty. Instead, he finds himself to be the target for all the school bullies, including the principal, Mr. Jindrake. When Max's parents unexpectedly announce the family will soon move to Chicago, Max decides to plan a campaign of revenge against his adversaries. As the war wages on, Max learns the hard way that revenge can sometimes be a dirty business.
The first 2 times it was horrible because each clump of congealed
food product was like wiped on like the back of my ear, like right here, and like crusted all over my face, and there's like pickles hanging off of my clothes.
Director Tim Hill says the easygoing nature of all the actors involved made even the messy scenes a lot of fun. Max Keeble's Big Move hits theaters October 5th. Now time to look at the events happening in your area.
With the recent attacks on the U.S., many people are unable to describe their emotions. Maybe the most prominent emotion felt is that of fear. We wanted your thoughts about people's biggest fears with our country's latest situation.
I guess my biggest fear would be the future of the country, the future and the security of the country. What our children are going to have to live with, what my kids are going to have to live with. That's what I've been thinking about a lot.
I don't really have any fears because I have faith in our president. He's a man of God. I have faith in our government, and I just think they'll do the right thing.
Well, I guess my biggest fear would be that there's going to be too many changes because of this incident.
I think my greatest fear would be right now the overreacting of people, and I understand we need to be safe, but yet we don't need to lose our rights as individuals.
Well, I guess my biggest fear is that somehow we'll overact or go past what we should, but I think that the administration that we have is trying to be careful about that.
I guess that I don't think it's over. I don't think that this is the last that we'll see of it.
Losing a pet can be like losing a family member. Many people treat the loss of an animal like they would a father or sister passing away by burying them in a cemetery. Pet cemeteries are a place where people young and old can say goodbye and remember.
Don Hartay takes care of a special place. Pet Haven Cemetery gives pet owners somewhere to say goodbye to old friends. Don's 30 years of taking care of the cemetery has given him many stories to tell. He sometimes finds a little light in otherwise saddening stories of loss, stories of little heroes and tough guys brought to a tear. One of the first to be buried here was his own family's dog.
He got skin cancer and had to be put away. Just everybody gets something, you know. But he was very much enjoyed.
Don says during the summer, many people come to visit old friends. Some people have a hard time coping with the loss.
The guy was a biker. And they say they're tough. Well, I can't believe that. He had to help me bury it, and he cried like a baby.
Moisture in the ground proves to be the biggest task in maintaining the cemetery, but the biggest task for his customers is to keep their eyes dry. One woman lost a dog that saved her life twice from 2 different fires. Don Hartay also owns another piece of land that is very personal to him.
My son is buried over here, my mother, my stepfather. Someday I'm going to be over there.
He takes the money he makes from Pet Haven to care for his family's graves. Don says his son will take care of things when he is gone. With photographer Brian Jones, this is George Hargreaves reporting.
There are quite a variety of animals buried at Pet Haven. Aside from the normal dog and cat, there's also a rat and a horse with many fond memories in between. Well, coming up, he talks, he has feathers, and he craves attention. You'll see how this animal has won the heart of his owner later in the show. Plus, the Cold War brought many fears to Americans in recent history. Today, you'll see where the traces of this politically delicate time can still be seen in rural North Dakota. That story plus news, sports, and weather in the next half hour of Studio One.
Students from any major can build a great future through the entrepreneurship programs at the College of Business and Public Administration at the University of North Dakota.
It lets them meet with business people and spread their wings and do the research to see if their ideas really do work.
Well, this program is for everybody. Business coincides and integrates with any major out there.
Trust yourself. Take action. Discover the entrepreneurship programs at the UND College of Business and Public Administration.
Explore the educational opportunities available through the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota. With just one phone call or a click of the mouse, you'll find high-quality programs designed for today's adults. We have a large selection of continuing education courses that are available at a time and place that's convenient for you. Discover a world of learning through the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota.
Future a bit cloudy? Get a brighter picture at UND Aerospace and the University of North Dakota. World-class training programs endorsed by major airlines, an extraordinary fleet of aircraft, and learning facilities second to none make UND Aerospace the largest collegiate aviation program in North America. Begin your future in the aviation industry. Explore programs in space studies or computer science. Soar into the atmospheric sciences. It's all here at UND Aerospace. What's in your future? UND Aerospace, clearly the leader in aviation education.
Are you a parent looking for childcare? Do you know what good childcare looks like? Do you provide childcare and have questions? Does childcare affect your business? Do you have employees who are concerned about childcare? Doesn't every child deserve quality childcare? Any questions? Call Child Care Resource and Referral.
Watching Studio One from the University of North Dakota in Grand Forks.
Thanks for coming and joining us today on Studio One.
Yes, thanks for coming back.
Yes, and before we get on with the show, there's a lot of people that are trying to stay away from flying, on the airlines right now. But in Europe, they actually have a solution that's already in place, and it's the fast-moving trains.
Wow.
We don't have that here in the United
don't.
States yet, but there are some places that are going with that. There was a report in, it was in the Travel and Leisure magazine, and there's a route from Paris to Brussels, and it only takes 85 minutes with this fast Euro train.
I bet that's top speed.
It is very fast, and it's actually just as fast as if you got on a plane, went through checkout, flew there, got a taxi, and then got to where you needed to go. So
wow, people are deciding to take the trains then.
That's right. That's what's happening in Europe, and maybe it might come here too.
Maybe.
Well, coming up in the next 30 minutes on Studio One, we'll tell you how people are turning to their faith to help them cope after the terrorist attacks.
Also, we'll take a look back in time to show you a very special military facility and some of the people that it affected.
Also, our next guest has a new interest in his life, his bird. We'll talk with him about his lifelong companion. But first, today's news with Leanna Anderson.
Thank you, Monty and Ivy. A Russian commercial jet carrying 77 passengers exploded before crashing into the Black Sea earlier today. Russia's defense minister says an explosion was reported on the plane before it went down. While Russian officials say the crash could have been an act of terrorism, U.S. officials say it could have been the result of a failed Ukrainian military exercise. The plane, carrying 11 passengers and 11 crew members, had just left Tel Aviv and was bound for the Siberian city of Novosibirsk. A Palestinian disguised as an Israeli soldier went on a shooting spree at the central bus station in Afula, Israel. Authorities say at least 3 Israelis were killed and 13 others wounded. A police volunteer on duty at the bus station shot and killed the gunman. Israeli radio stations say police found a suicide letter in Arabic on the gunman's body. The bus station, not far from the West Bank, has been targeted for terrorist attacks several times in recent years. The attack is the latest in a series that have marred a fragile ceasefire agreement reached last week between the Israelis and Palestinians. Since the terrorist attacks on September 11th, travel agencies have noticed a decline in the number of bookings. According to the Travel Industry Association of America, 3/4 of all airline tickets are sold through travel agencies. And with less people flying, agencies are losing a big part of their business. One travel agent in Grand Forks, North Dakota, says he is not too concerned at the time.
I think as we see better security measures and maybe the airlines will spend a little more in promoting air travel. So I think it's going to be just a short-term type things. People are still going to take vacations.
Others continue to worry. One travel agency is requesting $5 billion in government funding to help all agencies recover from the terrorist attacks. Video conferencing is helping world businesses recover after the terrorist attacks. Fear of flying and reduction of flights have made businesses look to other means of communication. Conferencing gives people the chance to meet without leaving their offices. Genesys is the biggest teleconferencing company in the world. Its sales have increased by 40% since the attacks. It now plans to develop more sophisticated web conferencing services to meet this new demand. In times of crisis, people use different strategies to cope. In the aftermath of the terrorist attacks in New York and Washington, many are turning to their faith.
Americans packed the churches on the Sunday after September 11th. They went to pray for the victims and for their country. Now, a few weeks have gone by, and most churches have returned to their normal attendance. But for some people, this tragedy has strengthened their faith.
There seems to be a great awareness of just the need of prayer and of praying for our government, for our leaders, for the military, and then just for each other.
Others are experiencing inner conflicts and a testing of their faith.
I've developed a turmoil as far as my faith goes between my love of God and people and the desire for justice.
Others still have felt no change in their faith.
I've talked to a lot of students about spiritual things since the bombing, but none of them have really raised any hard issues or even brought up the subject.
While some turn to their faith for guidance, others turn from it. They question God's existence and how he could allow such a bad thing to happen. Many churches welcome and accept these questions as normal.
Yes, there's been a lot of questions. Where was God in the midst of this? What should my response be as a Christian? We're taught to be loving, forgiving, to love our enemies, and yet this is a very evil and horrendous thing.
As the country faces more difficult situations in the future, questions such as these will continue. This is Stephanie Shimmick reporting for Studio One.
Klug says in the wake of this national tragedy, people should try not to be overcome with hate. And that's news for now. Monty and Ivy?
Thanks, Leanna. Well, Ryan was saying that there might be some of the white stuff flying around later.
Hopefully not, but let's go back to the Regional Weather Information Center with Ryan Vipond. Ryan, what do you have for us?
Well, Monty and Ivy, we possibly could see a mix of rain and flurries in the area here, especially from Grand Forks north and eastward, but not overnight tonight through the early morning hours. Currently, as we take a look at the currents here in Grand Forks, under a mostly cloudy sky, our temperature sits at 50 degrees, dew point 29, relative humidity 44%, northwest wind, pressure steady now at 30.2. As we take a look at our jet stream analysis out there for today, a trough over the upper Midwest and northern plains, keeping this cold air pocketed here across south central Canada and upper Midwest. But as we move on into Monday, this jet stream lifts northward and some warmer air moves into our region, and we'll possibly see some temperatures back to near normal by the beginning of next week. So our extended forecast looks like this: cloudy skies in Grand Forks tomorrow with 41. Not much better for Saturday, with a partly sunny sky and 42, and Sunday we see 50 degrees, and Monday back up to 60 degrees for a daytime high on Monday. So if Monty and Ivy, if we can get through the next couple of days here, we'll be all right, because back to near normal temperatures for early next week.
All right, thanks, Ryan. Well, I hope the weather stays around 50 degrees. I'm hoping for that.
Normal is good.
Yeah,
Normal is good. Let's go now to James DeGelder with sports.
Thanks, Monty and Ivy. Last season, the University of North Dakota hockey team lost in overtime in the national championship game. And even though there's been a lot of changes to this year's team, they are still looking to make it back into championship form.
After a season where the University of North Dakota Fighting Sioux hockey team was one win away from back-to-back national championships, the 2001-2002 Sioux are looking forward to making their mark on the world of college hockey once again. Over the off-season, the Fighting Sioux have developed an entire new look. The most visible change is in the new venue for the Sioux home games. The new Ralph Engelstead Arena seats nearly 11,500 people and costs more than $100 million to construct. According to the players, the new arena boasts one of the most impressive sights in all of college hockey and will undoubtedly leave fans and opposing teams in awe.
We got to practice in there last week, and it was pretty incredible. You're skating around, looking around, you're not really paying attention to the ice, and it'll be the other team coming in there being in wow, and maybe we can jump on them early while they're still looking around at their new place.
Along with breaking in the new home of the Fighting Sioux, the team also faces the challenge of replacing 5 players that signed with professional teams and integrating 13 new players into the roster this season, most of which are freshmen. For leadership, these new players will need to look towards team captains Chad Mazurek, Aaron Schneekloth, and Ryan Beta, who are all coming off of career seasons.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to have a little bit of different role this year, a little more leadership probably expected for myself. So, I'm looking forward to getting going and having a good season.
Fighting Sioux hockey has a rich tradition of winning and excellence. Over the past 7 seasons, Coach Dean Blaze has led the Sioux to 2 national championships and 4 WCHA regular season titles. Even though the team has changed, with Coach Dean Blaze at the helm, the final goal is still the same. For Studio One Sports, I'm John Randall.
The Fighting Sioux are ranked 2nd in the nation in the USA Today American Hockey Magazine preseason poll. Michigan State University claimed the top spot, and Minnesota is ranked 3rd. It's now time for the answer to this week's Studio One Sports trivia question. The question is, what professional baseball player stole 50 consecutive bases from 1988 to 89? Is it Ricky Henderson, Ozzie Smith, Jose Canseco, or Vince Coleman? The answer is D, Vince Coleman. And that's the sports for today. Monty and Ivy.
Thanks, James. Many people enjoy having pets such as dogs, cats, and fish. Our next guest has an interest in tropical birds. We'll get to talk with him about his unique feathered friend.
And in the 60s, many people in North Dakota were surrounded by missile alert facilities. These missiles were some of the most powerful weapons during that time period. Today, you'll get to see one of the remains of these facilities. That story is next on Studio One.
Address your workforce training needs through the Workforce Training Partnership between Lake Region State College and the University of North Dakota. Both institutions have joined together to provide training in computer applications, management and supervision, the trades, and much more. The partnership also provides customized training programs to fit the specific needs of your business or industry. For more information, contact the Workforce Training Partnership Office at Lake Region State College or the University of North Dakota.
UND's Conflict Resolution Center is your regional training resource for conflict transformation and prevention. Conflict is inevitable in the business world. Your ability to manage it is key to your success. That's where we can help. We provide on-site training, mediation, and facilitation services customized for your organization. The UND Conflict Resolution Center, capturing the positive energy of conflict and transforming it into human potential.
Explore the educational opportunities available through the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota. With just one phone call or a click of the mouse, you'll find high-quality programs designed for today's adults. We have a large selection of continuing education courses that are available at a time and place that's convenient for you. Discover a world of learning through the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota.
You're watching Studio One, news, weather, sports, and entertainment.
Beginning in the 1960s, the people of northeastern North Dakota lived beside some of the most powerful weapons in the world. The area was the home to 150 intercontinental ballistic missiles, but treaty obligations have caused the U.S. to downsize its arsenal, bringing an end to that region's long association with missile defense.
In the middle of this prairie landscape, surrounded by farms and fields, sits a relic of the Cold War. After years of dismantling and downsizing, this is now the last missile alert facility in eastern North Dakota. This boarded-up building at one time was busy with activity, but the true nature of this facility is not found on the surface. 40 feet underground, soldiers kept a vigilant watch over part of the nation's nuclear arsenal. That ended in 1997. And written on the inside of the blast door are the names of the missileers who are a part of that last watch. For more than 30 years, missileers like them pulled 24-hour shifts, eating, sleeping, and working here, always prepared to perform a task they hoped they would never have to do.
It takes 2 people to launch, and you have a certain amount of time you have to do it simultaneously. The commander would sit over there. It would basically be in control of the alert, the commander. The deputy was here for support, just to watch over the commander.
The 20 missiles that this facility once controlled were removed several years ago and their silos destroyed. Missileer Rich Namath has spent a lot of time deep inside launch control centers like this one. He says keeping constant watch over missiles can become tedious.
Do a lot of studying, play some cards, watch TV. Dealing with the boredom, you find a lot of things to do with your time. That's where a lot of this artwork came about too. When people started getting a lot of free time on their hands, they started coming up with ideas.
Artwork such as this wall painting of an eagle, the emblem of the 448th Missile Squadron. Standing by the eagle is Oscar the Grouch, the mascot adopted by the missileers who worked here, since this facility is known as Oscar Zero. But most of the time, the missileers here were busy doing their duty. Namath says he can remember the anxiety he felt during his first shifts in a launch control center.
It was mind-numbing, really. First couple of times, that's all you thought about was, geez, I have all this responsibility. I'm responsible for all these millions of lives. Basically, I hope I don't mess up.
Someone who knows what that responsibility feels like is Paul Wigtill. Wigtill spent 4 years as part of a missile crew during the Cold War, but now is a pastor in East Grand Forks, Minnesota. He says one of the main things he had to deal with as a missileer in the 80s was working with old technology.
Yes, it was rather archaic in many, many ways. A lot of repair. These things were built in the 50s, and I was there 30 years later, and so there was a lot of things that needed to be done.
Wigtill says following the proper procedure was very important, including the time when a new missile crew would take over.
We actually had a piece of specialized tape that went over the key switches, which were used for actually launching missiles. And there were tiny little bubbles on there that you would use a special viewer on to make sure that nobody had tampered with it. And that was verified every crew changeover.
Those procedures also included practicing what they would do if there was a nuclear strike.
At the drop of a hat, a commander could have asked that I go in and have an evaluation, which would have included an actual turning of keys under a scenario, a war scenario. The pressure that we had to do it correctly was just as intense as it would have been in the real world. I am convinced of that.
Wigtill says during times he spent in launch control centers like this one, he tried not to dwell on what would happen if he had to carry out an order to launch. He's just glad it's something he never had to do. I'm Aaron Quanbeck, reporting for Studio One.
The Oscar Zero Missile Alert Facility is currently in what the Air Force calls static display for 2 years. During that time, the State Historical Society of North Dakota will be trying to raise money to preserve the site and one of the missile silos. They hope to one day open it up to the public as a museum. Next week, we'll take you to one of the missile silo sites that had to be destroyed as part of the treaty agreement. Stay with us.
Let your job experience help you earn a degree in engineering while you continue to work. The University of North Dakota's Distance Engineering Degree Program offers the only ABET-accredited undergraduate degree program at a distance. Instructors and classes are delivered to you through videotape and other technologies.
Allows you to have a class whenever you like.
UND Continuing Education and the School of Engineering and Mines, teaming up to bring quality education to your door.
Future a bit cloudy? Get a brighter picture at UND Aerospace and the University of North Dakota. World-class training programs endorsed by major airlines, an extraordinary fleet of aircraft, and learning facilities second to none make UND Aerospace the largest collegiate aviation program in North America. Begin your future in the aviation industry. Explore programs in space studies or computer science. Soar into the atmospheric sciences. It's all here at UND Aerospace. What's in your future? UND Aerospace, clearly the leader in aviation education.
The School of Law at the University of North Dakota. This is a unique place, a place where you can learn with some of the best technology, where you can talk to the faculty in small class settings, a place where student activity groups enhance your education, a place which offers interaction with the court system, an affordable place where you can gain all the skills you need to get a job. Take your place at the University of North Dakota School of Law. Phone 1-800-CALL-UND.
Why should I go to the University of North Dakota School of Engineering and Mines? Is it the small class sizes and personal attention I'll get from the faculty and staff? Is it the hands-on student projects my friends and I will work on? Is it the professional internship programs that'll help me prepare for my future career? Maybe I just want to be a part of something amazing.
Find out for yourself what makes the UND School of Engineering and Mines the perfect choice for your engineering degree. Call 1-800-CALL-UND. That's 1-800-CALL-UND.
The blue and gold macaw is native to tropical South America and is one of the groups in the macaw family. Known for their curiosity and intelligence, they can make wonderful pets. Here to talk with us today is Dan Gellar and his bird, Ozzy. Thank you for coming on the show today, Dan.
Thank you.
And Ozzy, I guess. Well, first of all, what made you want to get a macaw?
I've had friends that have had birds all their lives, and they're just really interesting pets. They have a mind of their own. He'll look at me when I talk to him. Very intelligent. So I had another friend who actually bred and raised and sold them, so I got him at a real good deal. So I picked him up, saved money all summer.
And how much are birds like this?
This one particularly is about $1,200.
Okay.
And that's not including the $600 cage that you have to buy.
Oh, wow.
I bought him actually for $7, so
okay.
I got a real good deal.
And what special things do you need to do in order to take care of him?
Lots of attention, lots of attention. They're very emotional birds, so a lot of people actually buy these as novelty pets. They just put them in their houses just to make it look good. So most of the time what happens is they get lonely, and the only thing they have to do is just pick their feathers. They'll pick their feathers. They'll be, I've seen lots of birds with just feathers on their heads, and the rest is just bald. And they're just very, I just love them to death. I mean, I can do anything with them.
When they pick at their feathers like that, they'll grow back, right?
They will, but when they're emotionally damaged, they won't let them grow back. They'll keep picking at them when they start growing in. So I take very good care of him. I usually make sure he's out at least half the day. When I'm done with classes, I'll go home and get him. A lot of people have seen me on campus with him. That's just for attention. He loves attention.
And what does he eat? Do you have to follow any special guidelines when you're feeding him?
Most people think their diet is seeds. That's not true. Half their diet has to be meat. They're actually scavengers in the wild, so they'll actually go down and eat dead carcass. I know, it's really gross. So I feed him about 50% chicken, turkey, and then he actually eats everything. Most of the time when I cook dinner for myself, whether it be macaroni and cheese or hamburgers, McDonald's, that'll be his dinner for the night.
And can you train him in, like, potty train him? Or?
He is potty trained now. He's actually voice command. I could actually have him go to the bathroom if he had to right now.
Oh, well, you don't have to do that quite yet.
But he is potty trained in his cage. He knows the word no. He knows the word come here. He knows the word don't bite. He knows a lot of my facial expressions and just my body language most of all. So.
And can you teach him to talk, or
he talks.
He talks. Okay. And is that from picking up conversations that people have around him? It is.
Yep.
Okay.
I actually taught him to say hello. Other things he's picked up, he can say cracker now. He says I love you, Ozzy Bird. He does a lot of just kind of mumbling, just like he's trying to talk or converse, but you really can't understand it. He whistles. He'll just sit there.
He's put on the spot today. I don't know if he's gonna.
The only social hours they have, in the morning and at night. So every morning I get woken up with a hello, and at night, and that's actually part of their part of their species is they get together in the morning. Macaws are flockbirds. So they get together in the morning and they make a lot of noise, and then they break off, and then they get together at night. Those are the social hours.
Okay, that's what I was, are there any problems that you need to worry about, health problems with Ozzy if he's around other birds or animals or anything like that?
Actually, there's a lot of zoos that are scared of home-owned birds because they don't know where they come from. This actually, a lot of people ask what this is here. It's
right, his tag on his foot.
There's a little tag, if you can see, right on the back. You get the wing out on the foot, and it actually shows that he was legally bred in here. He's had all his vaccination shots, so he is not susceptible to any sicknesses because his parents were vaccinated. But he still can get sick. But I'm not actually sure what type of sickness.
So tell me, what's the best part about having Ozzy?
Oh, he's a wonderful companion, and I'm never alone. He's always with me. He'll be with me for life. He'll outlive me.
How long will he live?
He lives, in captivity they live about 80 to 90 years.
Okay.
With a healthy life. In the wild they can live up to 120 years.
Wow, that's a friend for life.
Yep.
So if I wanted to get a bird like Ozzy, where do you think I should go?
You can actually buy one here. They're very expensive here, but you can look on the internet. Most pet stores will have them, but the internet's probably the best place to buy them.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Dan, for coming on the show. You're watching Studio One from the University of North Dakota. We'll be right back after this.
The University of North Dakota has a rich history of retaining and graduating American Indian students. UND offers 26 American Indian programs, more than any other higher education institution in the U.S. The support services provided by Native American programs enhance student success. Native American programs offer tutoring, academic advising, and financial aid assistance, which makes UND a leader in Indian education. For more information, call 1-800-CALL-UND.
Let your job experience help you earn a degree in engineering while you continue to work. The University of North Dakota's Distance Engineering Degree Program offers the only ABET-accredited undergraduate degree program at a distance. Instructors and classes are delivered to you through videotape and other technologies.
Allows you to have a class whenever you like.
UND Continuing Education and the School of Engineering and Mines, teaming up to bring quality education to your door.
Are you a parent looking for childcare? Do you know what good childcare looks like? Do you provide childcare and have questions? Does childcare affect your business? Do you have employees who are concerned about childcare? Doesn't every child deserve quality childcare? Any questions? Call Child Care Resource and Referral.
Valor Insurance partners with you in protecting what matters most. For more than 50 years, Valor has built its reputation on its people, its clients, and a commitment to VIP service. Valor Insurance, Fargo, Bismarck, Grand Forks. Valor Insurance understands that the strength of its people is its greatest asset. People that tailor insurance protection that meets your needs. That's the key to VIP service. Valor Insurance, Fargo, Bismarck, Grand Forks.
Tune in next week on Studio One. We'll witness the implosion of a piece of North Dakota's history. Plus, we'll give you the rundown on what's happening in entertainment and news.
Well, we're going to leave you now with some pictures of a pumpkin patch, courtesy of photographer Eric Svoboda. From all of us here at Studio One, have a great week.